What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Ivory Smasher's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the X-Transbots Razer, or their take on Bonecrusher, and I just got this in from Agabus. I'm kind of shocked at how quickly this came out in relation to the Scavenger, so, I'm definitely not crying about it, but I would guess it's just them trying to compete with Vance Toys in the space, and I think robot-wise, they're killing it, but each figure deserves their own review. So let's go ahead and get to it, but in order to do so, let's first get to accessories. So he comes with two extra faces, one screaming face and one almost like kissy face. I don't know. They both seem like weird choices to me in my humblest opinion. But the good news is the stock face looks pretty good. Then he comes with a separate head and face. I don't know what this is in reference to. I'm not sure. If you know, feel free to put in the comments, and feel free to look and make sure that nobody else has already put in the comments. But yeah, I have no clue what this is all about. But you get two of them. The blue metallic face looks good. The paint-wise, the yellow paint looks good. That expression to me is a bit better, honestly, than the two extra expressions you get. But what are you gonna do? You get a combiner piece here, and you also get, obviously, the arm. We'll talk about this a bit more in detail later, but, this is to connect it to the body, and this is to connect it to the bot. As a side note, they do show that you can open this up and sort of store your extra accessories and stuff in there if you so desire. He comes with a trumpet, same as the others. It's the same exact trumpet, just, mass-produced, basically, chromed out, looks good, and it has a tab on it that will tab into the palm of his hand just like the others. And lastly, he has a gun. It is painted with the metallic black, very simple sculpt to emulate the cartoon, but otherwise fine. Tab on the handle, that'll connect to a tab or a port in the palm and just wrap the fingers around, and he holds it just fine. And we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis, and I think they nailed this. I think it looks absolutely astounding. The silver paint looks great. The metallic black looks great. The red chrome looks great. The head is on a hinge swivel. Little limited up. Good down. Swivel. And obviously no confused face because of the engineering regarding the articulation. Shoulders. Universal. Get out past 90 degrees. You get 360 around. You get a billified joint, which is nice. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow for the full run. Wrist swivel. Fingers hinge on a base pen knuckle. The index finger is individually articulated with a secondary knuckle. The other three are on the same hinge, but they also have a secondary knuckle. And you do have tight writer fingers, which is not my favorite. Make sure that's in focus. The thumb is on a hinge and then comes out to a secondary and tertiary hinge. So, not bad. The sculpt work, at least there's a little bit of differentiation as opposed to the Scavenger, which was just too plain for my taste. And even the little bump outs here in the collar just adds something. Little details here in the chest with the red and silver, I'll take it. Waist swivel, great ab crunch. No issues there. Hip skirts get up and out of the way to expose universal joints. That will get you out to there. So not the full Van Damme, but more than you'll ever need. And forward and back to there. Not the full Monty, but more than you'll ever need. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knee with the tracks coming through on the knee joint. Not quite, in my opinion. I'd have to look at the Scavenger. I thought I remember the Scavenger sculpt work in this area being a little bit more interesting. It's the same engineering, so maybe I'm off, but I thought I remembered that. The little white accents I'll take. And then we have the... So you get an ankle tilt up, an ankle tilt down, and a rocker. When this comes in... When this comes in box, the... are sitting up like this, I believe. And just swing them down and swing the foot out. It's no big deal. And there he is from the back. Super clean. No doubt about that. This one, too, much like the Scavenger, just in my terms of my own personal preference, is not the most engaging looking. I prefer aesthetically the long haul and the scrapper over the two arms, but I feel that way in general. And then when you go the Hypertune look, you know, I feel that way even more. But let me show you what he looks like next to the Toy World, just because we've been doing that, and then we'll show him with the collection of others so far. So there he is next to the Toy World, and this was always one of the weaker Toy World efforts, so it looks pretty bad in 2025. Let me show you what it looks like on the shelf. And there he is in the back right corner there. And this set is shaping up like incredibly. You know, 2 more to go. We haven't seen a whole lot of updates on those 2, so who knows how far away they are. But it is looking fantastic on a shelf. Like a lot of attitude. They look great. I'm anxious. I can't wait. All right, let's get him transformed. So we got to do the same thing like Scavenger, replace the tracks. Now, when these are engaged, you can't use the knee. So flip this over and around, and the toe part will interlock with a tab inside of like the ankle area or lower shin area. And same for this side. And once again, interlock there. And then you want to split the hips and then tab those 2 sections together. All right, open up these pieces here that connect the bottom of the chest. Open up the entire platform. Whoa. Goodness gracious. Open up the entire platform here from the bottom of the collarbone area. There. Then you can extend all of this middle section. You had to build the bulldozer out, so double hinge them out underneath here. Flip this piece down. That will grab a hold of both of those sections. Flip that piece up and then rotate that 180. As for this head here, you want to flip this down, I think. Yep. And then spin the head around. But you got to make sure that this section, here collapses enough that it will get inside of this cavity there. Oh, there you go. Just got to bend it past a little bit. It's a little bit troubling about the head popping off all the time. There you go. Down, spin the head around, and then on this side, you can flip up this. That builds the back of the chair. These pieces spin around on both sides. And in their instructional video, this piece is collapsed. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to be that way in robot mode, but it definitely didn't come transformed that way. And then the last thing you want to do is rock this entire section down on a series of double hinges. And then these 2 pieces here and here will tab in there and there. I'm cutting this in because they don't go over it in the instructions. There's a little piece here that needs to flip up, and that sits in connection with this top piece. So just don't forget to flip this piece up. Everything else is the same. For the arms, you got to find where this flap is. Bring all of this out. This entire section will spin around. And you can straighten that out. On this side, there's another section. Let me see if I can push that. There you go. That'll open up. And then flip this around to the outside. You want to collapse the forearm. That little smokestack kind of solidifies it, and then you can close this up, which is actually pretty cool. And then the hand needs to go in. Make sure that you have it collapsed. The thumb is on top. Let's do the same thing on this side. We're going to find the flap here. Open that up. Unfurl some of this stuff. Rotate that panel 180 degrees. Open up the fist. Or close the fist, rather. Push this little section out. That'll push that door out. This piece swings out. Collapse. That sits on top. Close this little door. Rotate the hand in. All right, bring these arms around on this joint here. And you want to have it so that the bump out on the shoulder goes inside. Obviously, you need to rotate so that the smokestack is sitting on top. And then it'll come in and grab a hold of that tab there. But you got to make sure that this is out. God bless. That's on me. And then bring this around to the front and tab it in. So you're looking for something like that. Okay, so same on this side. The only difference is we've got to make sure that our bucket here sits in between, so we have a little less wiggle room on this side. Once again, we're going to untab, bring this around, it is like a little bit of a mind screw of just how to do this. So this piece here needs to rotate out. This obviously needs to sit up. There you go. These will tab together. And this piece comes around to the front and also wraps around your bucket and tabs in. But I need to give myself a little space there. There. All right. And then lastly, you just flip up these pieces and collapse this. There's these tabs here, and they need to go in to this front section, so it will slide. And just tab it in. And then rotate your little shade over top. And that's it. I think I got to collapse this a bit. I got to clean it up a taste, but I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And there it is. And there it is next to Tiger Tracks. So beefy unit. And I think it works well, man. Like, my only complaint is I can't get that. I feel like that should sink in a little deeper, so to speak. But maybe that's a little better. I don't know. That's the only problem I'm having with it. But yeah, otherwise I think it's effective. This moves out and in a bit. You got these. I can't find a place for weapon storage. I'm not saying it's not there, but I can't find it. Bag is clean. I like the engineering to bring out these bits. Seat is cool. I don't know. You know, I'm the type that always wishes there was more details and stuff in here, but I get that that's not the current zeitgeist. You know, wheels underneath, rolls, clean underneath. What more do you want? I think it does the job properly. Moving on, we got to get this piece connected. So in order to do that, just bring down your tracks. You need to separate this. There's 2 ports inside of here. And then they'll also wrap around these like screw plates. And then once you have that connected, just connect it back onto the vehicle mode. Then you're bringing in this component, sliding it onto this little tab there, which is interesting, and this tab as well. And then you have 2 pegs that go in to that plate. But to be fair, worked like a champ. And then you turn it around this way, right? That connection's not the best, actually. Works well. Oh, there, that's working better. Maybe I just didn't have it in there all the way, so to speak. Wrist swivel. Actually, is that? No, because this guy should sit. Oh, yeah, and then you just spin the hand around. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, works good. Ratcheted elbows, double jointed, more than 90 degrees, wrist swivel, hinge in, out. Fingers are good. You know, and we'll make Devastator before it's all said and done, but or maybe after it's all said and done. But anyway, yeah, I think it worked well. I think it looks good. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negative. My own subjective negatives are just that there's an awfully lot of just plain green. That obviously goes into the cartoon design, so you could argue that's not entirely fair, and I wouldn't necessarily have a leg to stand on. It's just my own personal preference. But once again, just a little bit of extra sculpted detail never hurts. Even the most discipled of the cartoon look tend to like the way that the Minosaur from Fans Toys looks in the chest with the Toon approach, but with a little bit of sculpted detail along the way. It just heightens it a bit, and that's my personal preference. Of course, but this doesn't have it at all. Well, I shouldn't say it all. It doesn't have a ton of it. And I'll be honest with you, the only other thing I can nitpick on is perhaps a little bit more articulation in his head or neck to move up. Would have come in handy, but that's about it. But really, for the negatives, the one thing I gotta harp on again is bring back the instruction manual or make better instructional videos or do both. But as of right now, like I missed that one piece just because it's hard to follow the video. The video is only like 5 minutes. It goes through all 3 modes. It doesn't get, you know, and it's in, you know, a foreign language to me anyway that I don't understand, so it's not the best way to do it. I love the way that Fans Toys does it because it's very detailed. It shows you every section, and not to say that they don't make errors. To err is human, but it's a more easy to follow layout and how to accomplish it. That's my biggest gripe. There is a gap in the alt mode. It's small. It sits on the side. It's like a, I don't know, almost a rectangle shape, but with a triangle on top, which is a little unsightly, and I can't get that one piece to sit as soundly as I would like, so, but maybe I did something wrong, but I would say there's a couple. This is one of the weaker alt modes of the set, to be honest. Positives wise, I have a lot to say. So I love the head sculpt. I love the paint from head to toe with the metallic greens, reds, silvers, the chrome visor, appropriate accessories. Articulation is incredible. Like I said, a little bit more upward head movement and this thing would have been perfect articulation wise. Build is solid. I did have some screw covers pop off, but generally speaking of like the structural integrity of the build, solid, good ratchets, good tolerances on the joints, good proportions. It's really well done, man. I dig the engineering. It's fun. It's clever. It's intuitive. It'd be even better if the instructions showed you all the steps in detail. Going to combine mode is obviously a breeze. I think it's really good, man. Like, I think it's a really good figure. I think these Constructicons from X-Transbots continue to be really good. And thus a recommend from me. So I hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time.